Hello, and welcome to 5-Star Conversations in the Sun City. This is your host, Michelle M. Trey Hollis, and this is a very special edition because we are going to take you through several of the many events that was happening in El Paso for El Paso StartUp Week. I started the week at El Paso Black Arts Association Presents Tiny Desk El Paso, and this was on a Sunday, then we went to La Huila. Check it out. Well, here at La Huila, we saw old friends and new as we launched El Paso StartUp Week. Stay tuned for this episode. You're going to get all kinds of cool stuff.
All right, everybody. As of today, Sunday, September 21st at 6:52 p.m., we declare El Paso StartUp Week officially launched.
Hey, so as a student, I went to the Studio G at UTEP, and where I met a really cool young man and had this to say.
I just want to say that our role as older creatives and business people is to inspire the youth. So I'm in the Studio G, which is the entrepreneur studio at UTEP, because of course, why not if I'm a student? And I came to one of the workshops for the first time, sat next to a young man, and I'm so happy I did, because come to find out, he's a Mexican young man, very fashionable, totally my type of energy. And he said, you know what, my girlfriend's black, and I invited him to the El Paso Black Arts Association Tiny Desk. And he goes, I'm so happy to hear that. My girlfriend's black, and she feels like there's not a lot of stuff for us here. And they're like, there is. So the El Paso Black Arts Association is one thing, but also all of the entrepreneur stuff is very inclusive. We don't see a lot of black people there, but I think a lot of people have that perception. So part of my role is to change that perception about El Paso. And
that Wednesday, we took to the trolley with 1 million cups. Usually it's every Wednesday at 9 anyways, but this time they took to the trolley. We got to really come together and have a fun time on the trolley. Then that Thursday, the grand opening of El Paso Center for Diabetes.
I remember the fake food, and they taught me all about diet, and they really, really helped me as a young girl. You really don't know what diabetes means at that age. Mm-hmm. But my parents were very worried, and I knew that there was something bigger than what I thought. 20 years later, I received a pancreas transplant, so I'm no longer diabetic, but I believe strongly in the mission of the work that the El Paso Diabetes Association does for our community. Mm-hmm. So it's a true honor to be here today. Congratulations to the entire team. To have your own building is a huge success, and it's a true honor to be able to support you. So thank you so much for having us and for making us a part of your celebration today.
Now that was Gladys Gonzalez, the new CEO for the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. We heard from also other donors. We had the judge come through, Jason Diego, and then we heard from Roddick Sparrow.
Thank you, and good morning, everyone. You guys look great. Thank you for being here. As Sandra said, my name is Roddick Sparrow, and I have the privilege of serving as past president and current board member for the El Paso Center for Diabetes. As we gather at this center on this morning, I'd ask you, how many of you by show of hands have been affected by or know someone that's affected by diabetes? Just look around real quick. That's almost everybody in the room, a rare exception. I'd almost bet if they think real hard, the people who didn't raise their hand would know someone who is. I would also bet that as you see the traffic going by, each car would have a very similar representation of people affected by diabetes. That's why this center is important. That's why moving to this location was important. That's why that sign on a very busy street in El Paso is important. As you saw in the video, we just walked.
What else could we do? Because what they do is help prevent the risk of diabetes, which if you don't take care of will wind up coming into our ERs with patients in worse condition, with limb amputations, heart conditions, you name it. So Sandra, thank you for everything you do. You'll always have our support, you know that.
So proud of Sandra Gonzalez, the CEO, who is also my mentor for one of my classes, Community Leadership and Organization. It was great to be able to celebrate with them. Then it was off to Pioneers 21. They had an advertising workshop with Spectrum Reach. Take a listen.
We're Spectrum Reach. We still are Spectrum as an umbrella. we're the ones providing that internet in your home. We know what you're surfing, we know what you're watching, we know everything. Sorry. Big Brother's scary.
Oh, no.
We know everything. So we know down, and that's where we get our data as well. So we're able to tell you, somebody that watches, say, Channel 9 News or Fox News, we know where they went before and after.
Oh, wow.
On cable. So that's based on your set-top boxes. With your internet, we're able to know what you're doing on your phones, on your devices, what types of websites. We're able to differentiate whether or not a small child is using a tablet in the home primarily, as opposed to dad.
This is one thing that I love about my job, and I was just talking to someone here about this, is that we do have an in-house producer at Spectrum Reach, and so he helps create beautiful productions for our clients. And what I love about working with him is that he sees it as a creative and also sees it as like a storytelling. And he's very in tune with trying to move the audience, because that's our goal, is to move them to purchase your service or your product. So it's very important to, one, like she mentioned, who is your audience? Who are we speaking to? Are we speaking to Gen Z? Are we speaking to millennials?
Later that same day, the learning didn't stop. Check out these tips at League of Business Entrepreneurial Mindset.
September session of the League of Business this month is super special because we are celebrating Startup Week 2025. Así es que muchas gracias. And to honor that, today's session will be featured by a special presentation by our leadership circle made up of their insights on entrepreneurial mindset and how they manage to wear so many hats in business. Something I am sure we all can relate, right? Before we begin, I'd like to take a moment to say a few thank yous to the MCA for being the proud home of the League of Business and their amazing team. Thank you so very much. To Victor Guerrero, que se me hace que se quedó afuera, owner of El Paso Mirror Photo Booth. We brought the booth today, so please don't leave without taking a picture. Also, if you'd like to join the League of Business as part of the members, please go right here with our very own Michelle Hollis. She'll be happy to help you fill out the membership form. And, well, let's begin with our first presenter, Karina Mendoza.
Bueno, y yo creo que son 6 cositas que son súper importantes. Encontrar tu motor es súper indispensable. Yo quiero que ahorita todos cierren sus ojos y se pregunten, ¿qué haría si el riesgo o el fracaso no fuera un condicionamiento? ¿A qué me voy a hacer? Dejo mi trabajo, me pongo a vender chicles, me pongo a vender tamales. ¿Qué es eso que diría? ¿Sabes qué? Esto lo haría porque no tengo el potencial del fracaso, ¿no? Encontrar tu motor, la verdad es que yo creo que es uno de los pasos más importantes, porque vas a fracasar, vas a caer. Es encontrar qué es eso que te va a levantar todos los días y vas a decir, ¿sabes qué? Sí está difícil, sí estoy cansada, sí tuve un día de la chingada, pero le voy a seguir. Por esto, y es algo que tienes que encontrar internamente, porque cuando lo exteriorizamos estamos dependiendo de alguien más o de algo más. Entonces es algo que tú tienes que encontrar dentro de ti. ¿Qué es mi motor? Me gusta servir, me gusta el reconocimiento, porque el dinero va a llegar por añadidura una vez que tú encuentres qué es eso que te va a hacer el camino un poco menos difícil. La siguiente...
I'm here today opening up my toolbox and tell you guys, hey, this is what I've learned, and this is, I hope that you can take something of it and use it. If you use it, great. If you don't use it, it's okay. I'll give you a couple quick stories. When I was at Coronado, I used to work at Coronado Country Club cleaning clubs. And I don't know, I've told the story before. There was an article written, and I've told the story. I was cleaning clubs, and the guy who owned the golf shop had a whole bunch of boxes in the back in storage that they were from past seasons He didn't sell the clothes, and he just put it in boxes. And I said, hey, why don't you let me take that clothes? I'll go into Mexico, I'll sell it, and I'll split the profits with you. And he said, I'll do better yet. He said, take it, whatever you sell, okay, just give me what it cost me, and you can keep everything. I saw an opportunity there, and I took it. Okay. Not all people think like we do, and it's sad to say. I would never make it in the military. Okay, I would never make it in the military, and I'll tell you why. Another story. It was my attitude is I couldn't make it in the military. I was at Coronado cleaning clubs, and this general was in the military. I was 18 years old, didn't know any better. He had some beryllium copper clubs. And beryllium copper, it's like a penny. As it gets older, it gets duller. Well, my mind and my personality was I shined those clubs, and they were like new pennies, right? General comes in, and he just lets me have it. He was so angry because his clubs looked like new. And I stood there with my boss and people around, and he was just, if you've ever seen the movies where the generals are just yelling at the soldiers, that was me just standing there, 18-year-old kid, and this General Cassidy, and you can look him up, General Cassidy, he was one of General Polk's right-hand man. He was just yelling at me, just going off after me. Storms out, and this gentleman that was there comes over, and he says, I want you to work for me. And I said, did you just see that guy yell at me? And he says, you know what, he's in the private sector, he's in the public sector, he doesn't know what the initiative it took for you to clean those clubs. He says, I want you to come work for me. You're going to make me and yourself very successful. And that's how I started in being an entrepreneur, with this gentleman who saw me getting yelled at by a general, okay? So that's my general story.
Here, so I started working as a weather anchor in the morning show. Then I moved to the news anchor, producer, and one day they totally closed the morning show, and that's when I started getting so crazy because I got the first job as a social media. In that time, Facebook Lives were starting, so it was a long time ago. And that's when I started getting all the dopamine of social media. I was just again in one escritorio, in one desk, just doing social media. One more time, life was just putting me in a box. And I said, I have to start getting something in my mind because this is not working for me. I'm in my comfort zone. So I started listening to videos, and one video said, I don't know if you know Mel Robbins, she said, you have to do things in the first 5 seconds. And I was going crazy, and I said, God, the first thing. So I went to the newsroom, and they told me, hey, did you know that the assistant news director is leaving? And I said, no, not that. That's going to completely change my life. But I went to the office, and I said, hey, is it true that your assistant and news director is leaving? And he said, yes, you want it? 1, 2,
wow.
Yes. So I got the job right away, and I said, okay, I'm not going to be a boss, I'm going to be a leader. So I started again working on my mind, and finally I became the news director, and you can talk to anybody in the newsroom. My lemma, my vision, mission, it was to work together as a family, enjoy life, obviously creating what we love. So it was so beautiful. But again, oh my God, I was working for a company. I was working Monday through Sunday from 5 a.m. in the morning show to 11 p.m. to the late newscast. And I said, I don't want this. And then I have 2 little ones, my husband, very amazing, beautiful family. But I was listening to 2 beautiful songs at the same time. And I said, oh, it's getting crazy in my head. I have so much work. I am working also with my family because my mom left her job and she was getting depressed. And again, I said to God, hey, is there anything that we can start working in a business so she can be there? And right away, a friend told me, hey, we have a party hall and we wanted to trespass. You know somebody? And I said, that's mine. Give it to me. That's mine. So we started like into the entrepreneur business. We have the party hall, and then we have plushie rides at Solana, Basset Place. So if you see some animalitos riding, those are ours. And
Paso, El Paso, this holy land we tread. God's pathway, scripture has foretold, where hope and love are spread.
I forget how many we had last year, 12. We had 12 events last year. This is our third year doing Startup Week El Paso. So as we continue to grow, just like Representative Canales said, please plan to join us again next year and bring your friends. Bring your friends who have been talking about that idea they have.
Exactly.
That they haven't gotten around to and haven't gotten around to, because timing is never better than now, right? So it's important to encourage startups. Startup businesses are what become small local businesses, and then small local businesses sometimes move on to become regional businesses and national businesses.
That's what
Small
we're going
local
for.
businesses, though, across the United States make up 33%, I believe, of our economy.
Oh, yeah.
So it is important, it is vital to support local whenever you can. Go download the Box app if you don't have it, and start utilizing that. It can direct you to all sorts of local businesses that you may or may not know about already. So please support local and continue to be involved in Startup Week. We really appreciate you all being here. I would like to...
Good morning,